In a major revelation shaking up the Formula One rumor mill, McLaren CEO Zak Brown has made a statement that could pave the way for Carlos Sainz's return to the team. During a recent interview, Brown acknowledged that if an open seat were to arise, he would definitely consider Carlos, praising the Spaniard as not only a strong driver, but also a great friend to the team. What's noteworthy is Brown's choice of words. He emphasized that McLaren never terminated Sainz's contract. Rather, it was Carlos who left for Ferrari. This reframing signals that McLaren holds no grudge and might, in fact, welcome Sainz back if the opportunity aligns. Brown also noted that while Norris and Piastri are under long-term contracts, things in Formula One can shift rapidly. The fact that he still has Carlos's phone number in the address book was a pointed indication that discussions aren't entirely off the table. While speculative for now, Brown's public endorsement puts Sainz squarely in the spotlight as a future contender for a McLaren seat, especially if the team experiences internal instability. With McLaren now fielding one of the strongest lineups in Formula One, tension is rising as both Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris find themselves in championship contention. The team's resurgence has propelled both drivers to the forefront of the 2025 title fight, but it has also laid the groundwork for internal rivalry. McLaren has created a car that's finally capable of winning races, and that brings complications. Brown knows that within such a dynamic, only one driver can truly lead the charge. When one excels, the other risks falling behind and, potentially, seeking opportunities elsewhere. This reality raises serious questions. Can McLaren maintain harmony, or is the stage set for friction that will eventually push one driver out? These are not hypothetical concerns. In an environment where competitive parity leads to ego clashes, Brown is clearly anticipating issues, as any team principal would. The potential solution? A fresh face like Sainz, who knows the organization and has matured since his last tenure. If either Norris or Piastri feels edged out, that door swings wide open. The security of long-term contracts in Formula One is often exaggerated. As history has shown, no contract is airtight, not even for the sport's biggest stars. Brown's remarks regarding Sainz came at a time when similar rumors were swirling around Max Verstappen's alleged exit clause if he finishes outside the top 3 this season. If Verstappen can theoretically walk away, it stands to reason that either Norris or Piastri could do the same under certain conditions. In the high-stakes world of Formula One, performance clauses, exit clauses, and mutual agreement terminations are all commonplace. These mechanisms create a fluid driver market, where change is often sudden and dramatic. Brown knows this landscape well, and may already be preparing for such an eventuality. It's not about replacing a driver now, it's about having leverage when circumstances shift. In this environment, having a driver like Carlos Sainz available and interested becomes a powerful contingency. McLaren may not be actively seeking change, but they are certainly hedging against instability. Oscar Piastri's continued growth within McLaren isn't just about talent, it's also about contractual savvy. Earlier this year, when Piastri extended his contract, his manager Mark Webber reportedly fought hard to ensure the young Australian would never be treated as a number 2 driver. This clause effectively blocks McLaren from using team orders to favour Norris and guarantees equal opportunity based on performance alone. Such a clause alters the internal team dynamics significantly. Unlike traditional structures where teams rally behind a single leader, McLaren must now treat its drivers as equals, at least publicly and contractually. This move has given Piastri not only job security, but also the freedom to push boundaries on track, knowing that political limitations won't stand in his way. It also makes team management more complex for Brown, who must navigate 2 ambitious drivers on equal footing. This equilibrium is delicate and could fracture if either driver perceives favoritism or if results skew decisively toward one side. Yet another reason a driver like Sainz could be kept in the wings. In a strikingly honest interview, Zak Brown admitted that an on-track clash between Piastri and Norris is not only likely, it's inevitable. "I think it's a matter of when, not if," he said, describing the 24-race season as a pressure cooker for 2 competitive athletes sharing equal machinery. Unlike other team principals who would express concern or downplay the rivalry, Brown appeared almost nonchalant, suggesting the incident will be nothing more than a racing incident when it happens. His lack of concern may stem from confidence in both drivers' temperaments. Neither is known as a hothead, but it also speaks to his calculated approach to team dynamics. In Brown's view, some friction may actually help clarify pecking order, much like intra-team rivalries of the past. What he wants to avoid is drama, but if it comes down to a wheel-to-wheel collision, he believes it'll resolve itself naturally. This philosophical stance may be admirable, but it's also risky. The clash he's anticipating could be the very event that tips the balance and forces one driver, or both, out of McLaren. Carlos Sainz has spoken fondly of Williams, the team he joined after Ferrari. In public comments, he expressed genuine joy at fulfilling a childhood dream, naming Ferrari, McLaren, and Williams as the teams he dreamed of driving for as a boy. That emotional connection is real, but it may not be enough to anchor him long-term. While Williams offers him leadership and legacy, it lacks the immediate competitiveness of McLaren. The 2026 regulation changes could flip the grid, but that's a risk Sainz must weigh. Right now, Williams is focused entirely on 2026, potentially sacrificing short-term results for long-term gains. Sainz may not want to wait. McLaren, on the other hand, is already winning. Add in their future switch to Mercedes engines, arguably the most promising power unit for 2026, and the prospect of joining McLaren again becomes more appealing. Sentiment matters, but so do wins, podiums, and legacy. If McLaren offers a clearer path to success, Sainz may find it hard to say no, even if his heart still beats for Williams. Switching teams in Formula One is more than just a change of uniform. It's a complete transformation, especially when it involves different power units. Sainz recently shared his experience adapting to the Mercedes engine at Williams, calling it a sensory overhaul. He mentioned that the first thing he noticed wasn't the tires or aerodynamics, it was the engine's sound, the vibrations, and the feel of the car. These factors threw off his rhythm during initial testing in Abu Dhabi. This insight provides a rare look at the challenges drivers face behind the scenes. It also underscores why familiarity matters. Sainz's prior experience with McLaren, their working environment, and operational style could give him a huge edge if he were to return. The technical learning curve is real, and a known quantity is always more valuable in a high-risk, high-reward ecosystem like F1. His comments weren't complaints. They were acknowledgements of how difficult it is to hit the ground running. In that light, a return to McLaren might not only be strategic, it might be comfortable. While Carlos Sainz remains a potential future asset, the real story unfolding within McLaren right now is the shifting balance of power between Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Norris, long seen as McLaren's golden boy, now finds himself in the shadow of Piastri, who has already won multiple races in 2025. It's a narrative shift that no one saw coming. Norris dominated Piastri in 2024, outperforming him in every category. But this season, Piastri is faster, calmer, and seemingly more focused. Every time he steps into the car, he delivers. For Norris, the pressure is mounting, and it's showing. His sprint qualifying struggles in China and that botched Q3 lap in Jeddah have been dissected by fans and analysts alike. They aren't just bad days, they're symptoms of a larger problem: pressure. Whether it's internal expectations or the burden of being the face of McLaren, Norris is faltering at the wrong time. And in Formula One, perception is everything. The conversation around Lando Norris has taken a serious turn, as respected figures in the sport are now openly questioning his mental strength. Former world champion Alan Jones did not hold back, suggesting Norris is mentally weak and preoccupied with negative thoughts rather than focusing on solutions. His remarks echo those of Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko, who predicted that Norris's psychological state will be his undoing in the championship fight. These comments carry weight, not just because of who said them, but because they reflect what many observers are beginning to suspect. Norris may have the technical skills, but the mental edge required to survive a grueling title campaign against both Piastri and Verstappen may not be there. The criticism isn't personal, it's professional. Norris now faces the dual challenge of proving the critics wrong, while also outperforming two of the most formidable rivals on the grid. If he fails to respond, McLaren's faith in him could begin to erode. As Formula One hurtles toward a major regulation shift in 2026, teams are making long-term strategic decisions, and McLaren's future is looking bright. With a move to Mercedes engines on the horizon, and a car that's already competitive in 2025, McLaren is positioning itself as a top contender. For Carlos Sainz, this could be the perfect storm. Williams may have his loyalty now, but they lack the immediate firepower. If Sainz wants to win now and build legacy during F1's next evolution, McLaren could offer both. But there's a catch: Norris and Piastri. Both are embedded and performing well. For Sainz to slot in, one would have to go. This isn't just about who's faster, it's about who fits the team's long-term vision. As Brown keeps all options open, and Sainz reflects on where he truly belongs, the stage is set for one of the sport's most dramatic driver shakeups in recent memory.